This is the Yanks Go Yard podcast with Adam Weinrib and Thomas Carannante.
Wow. Welcome to a post-ALCS Game 1 live stream podcast, the Yanks Go Yard podcast, in fact. I'm Adam Weinrib alongside Thomas Carannante, and man, making it to the ALCS just is not as rewarding as it used to be. Game 1, 6 minutes after Game 5 of the ALDS, champagne celebration, pop the bottles, Jameson Tyone against Justin Verlander in Houston. Oh, wait, that's what I was fighting to get to last series? That's what was at the end of that? It was like after winning that series against Cleveland, the reward was the only pitcher I don't think it's possible to beat, except for Game 5 2019, and the worst ballpark in baseball, Sans Fenway, for us, and it occurs about 24 hours after a huge win that really taxes the bullpen. Sign me up. That looked exactly as boring as you'd think it would have. The Yankees did not win this baseball game. They lost it 4-2. It was 4-1 after Clark Schmidt and Frankie Montas got to work in the middle innings. You briefly thought they could steal it when Harrison Bader put the Yanks up 1-0. Of course, the Astros rallied right back the next half inning because that's what they always do. It was a coin flip in the middle innings. Aaron Boone got lucky with Clark Schmidt out of the bullpen, decided to go to him for another inning. It did not work. The Yankees were never going to win this game, but then they kind of could have won this game, and then they lost this game. Welcome on to the podcast. You can find us live on Apple Podcasts. Well, actually just taped on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all the podcast platforms. But we're live on YouTube, 2 o'clock Eastern time, Mondays and Thursdays typically. But today we're doing live after the Wednesday night game because, folks, nothing is going to change baseball-wise between the end of Game 1 and the random afternoon before Game 2. So why don't we just try to capture the attention and the mood live now? Thomas Carannante, welcome on into the podcast. The series isn't over. Last time Yankees played the Astros in the ALCS, they absolutely destroyed them in Game 1 and then immediately dropped Games 2, 3, and 4, and it was the worst ever. I don't know about you. I wanted to win this game, but I preferred what just happened to holding a 1-run lead in the 9th. Is that weird? I just did not want to experience that tonight.
Well, here's the thing. You knew we were losing this game, right?
Absolutely.
Everyone in their right mind, you come into this game and you're like, you know what? We're down 0-1, and it doesn't matter because we got here, and all that matters is getting here. It's a 7-game series. There's a lot of time left. Doesn't matter. You can go down 0-2. You don't want to, but you could go down 0-2 and still have a chance.
I really don't want to, but you
don't want
could,
to.
But I don't want to.
2017, you went down 0-2. You won 3 straight at home. You took it back to Houston, made it close. But you had a chance in this one. Harrison Bader, early home run, takes the lead. Justin Verlander, 75 pitches through 4 innings. You look like you're finally going to get to the pen. You look like maybe you're going to force the Astros into some tough decision-making. Their first game into this. Remember, guys, this is their 4th game in 14 days for the Astros. So they're not in a rhythm. They're not exactly in a rhythm. Jose Altuve, again, hitless tonight. He's 0 for his last 19 in the postseason. He had a walk. But here's what it comes down to. And everybody watching at home knew what happened, knew what this result was going to be. And it's, once again, not a knock on Clark Schmidt. This is a knock on Aaron Boone. Jameson Tyone, it's a great start. Great start from Jameson Tyone.
This is the hardest he could be hit without giving up any runs, but he got out of every jam he put himself into. Yeah. Hasn't started a game in weeks. Yep. Fine. Sign up for that all day, every day.
Exactly. Great defense behind him. Aaron Judge diving catch to save 2 runs. Stanton played the field, folks. Hope you saw that. It was great. Helped him at the plate too, I think. He went 2 for 4. Long outstretched catch in left field to steal a hit from the Astros. And Tyone is 4 1/3 in. He gave up 1 run on 4 hits and 3 walks. Like 67 pitches, totally doing fine. You'd like to see more strikes, 37 strikes there at a 67 pitches. But you know what? You'll take that outing 9 times out of 10 from your theoretical Game 4 starter who's starting in Game 1. Goes into the 5th, gets the first out in Altuve, gives up a double to Jeremy Pena. Aaron Boone gives the quick hook right there.
Yeah, it's got to get him out of here.
You want to give a quick hook there? Sure.
I don't mind it.
Coming up. That's great. What's your plan though? What is your plan? Your plan is Clark Schmidt, and I don't know why. So Clark Schmidt, who has yet to be used in a sensible situation or yet to be used in the manner in which he is actually useful for. He is not one to come in a high pressure situation. He is not one to come in to protect a tie. He is not one to come in to protect a 1-run lead late in games. He is one to lengthen the bullpen, give you some extra innings, multi-innings when you need it. And then Clark Schmidt comes in this 5th inning, intentionally walks Yordan Alvarez, walks Alex Bregman. Bases are loaded. Bases are loaded for Kyle Tucker. So you're sitting there and you're like, great, we're screwed. Then what happens? Kyle Tucker out. Clark Schmidt throws a great pitch. Kyle Tucker stretches his bat out. Double play. We're out of the inning. Great.
Unbelievable. If you're going to win a game like this, you need breaks. The Yankees aren't going to win the World Series without some breaks.
Nope.
Terry Francona forgot to challenge an infield single yesterday. Break. Aaron Boone makes a crazy decision, brings in a middle reliever starter to get out of a jam against Yordan Alvarez, Alex Bregman, and Kyle Tucker in the 5th. He does it. Bases loaded, 1 out. The Astros don't score. Imagine if that's us. We're like, are you kidding me? The game's about to turn on a dime. 1-1, bases loaded, 1 out. We don't score with the heart of the order. This is done. Well,
brings him out for the 6th.
Let's bring him out again. You get the luckiest break possible against the heart of the order, and let's just see if we can replicate that exact luck. Let's double down.
Double down while you're down $1,000.
Let's hit on 21, Aaron Boone.
It's literally what he's doing, and I don't understand why. But look at it. This is the crazy part too. Clark Schmidt actually ends up. It's not the worst thing when he comes out for the next inning, right? It looks like it's going to be okay. He gets Gurriel in an 0-2 count really quickly. And you're like, okay, nice. We got the bottom of the order here. Gurriel down in the count, whatever. I don't know what pitch Clark Schmidt threw on this 0-2 count. I still don't know. The radar said it was 86 miles an hour. Still trying to figure out what pitch it was.
Yeah.
It was chest high. It was 86 miles an hour. It didn't move. Gurriel hit it into the left field seats.
As he always does against us and against nobody else. The bottom of the Astros order, nothing special.
No. Bad.
Really
it's
not.
bad. It's a bad bottom of the order.
I was having this conversation with a friend who always kind of has the pulse on things, and honestly, like, is the kind of person that brings out the worst in me and my fandom and stuff, because he says everything I don't want to say, and then I'm like, yeah, I wanted to say that for sure, and you said it first. Was kind of giving me the like, hey, our offense just like isn't it. Like, we've got Carpenter, Kiner Flefa, Trevino, Donaldson. Like, that's just not good enough. And then I was like, hey, you're right. All those guys are either off right now or not functional. And like a theoretical juggernaut team would have a better offense than that. But that is not, when those people are functioning, that's not worse than Gurriel, Aledmus Diaz, Chas McCormick, Martin Maldonado.
No.
The Yankees group I just read off has higher upside than those people. Gurriel is washed at this juncture, but not in October and not when we come to play him. It's just true. And whenever he needs to stomp on a pitch, he will. Whether that's facing a large deficit against the 2017 Dodgers, whether that's the Yankees trying to steal a crucial game down 3-2 in the 2019 ALCS and starting a reliever, and they're almost out of the first inning, but then Gurriel goes yard. Like, he's just the guy who it's like, this is kind of tight, and the bottom of the lineup's coming up, and Gurriel's kind of faded, and actually, no, he just went deep again. Like, and again, and you have to assume that that's going to happen tomorrow as well, especially with Jose Altuve. Again, still 0 for the postseason. The other guys who kill us had to step up and kill us, and Gurriel did.
Yeah, Jose Altuve 0 for the postseason. Astros undefeated in the postseason. Here's another thing: both the Yankees and the Astros went 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position tonight, straight at 7 runners. The difference ended up being these home runs. Then Chas McCormick goes yard right after Gurriel, and that makes it 3-1. Chas McCormick, up until that point in the game, had walked, got on base against Tyone twice. He got a hit and walked, and then hits this home run. So Chas McCormick, the number 8 hitter, is 2 for 2 with a walk, got on base all 3 times he appeared at the plate. And you look back on the ALDS, right? And the team was obsessed with walking Austin Hedges. I don't understand how that was a thing. But if the Yankees are going to even dream of making this an actual series, they cannot be letting the bottom of the Astros order capitalize on them. And that's exactly what they managed to do tonight. And it's beyond frustrating because at this point, look, Aaron Boone knows. Aaron Boone, I don't know if he knows, but he has to know. He has to have an idea that Clark Schmidt is not the guy to bring in there. You have Lou Trevino on full rest, so you can bring him in.
Wait, surely he wasn't ready for this game, though. Like, there's no way if he used Clark Schmidt in the 6th that Lou Trevino was available tonight at any point. Stop me if he came in. There's no way he came in, right?
Came in after Schmidt. They flopped the roles.
Weird. And then he got taken out though after that because then I saw Frankie Montas pitching the very next inning. So surely Trevino had a really tough inning where he like battled and it was like 38 pitches, right? That must have been what happened.
7 pitches.
Oh, again. Well, that's interesting.
So I would like to know once again. I just want to is somebody in the post? We have the post game up. Is somebody asking questions why we're doing this again? The Astros bottom 4 hitters end up producing the first 3 RBIs of the game for them. And that simply can't happen. It cannot happen when the Yankees top hitters are not doing anything. Before Anthony Rizzo's home run in the top of the 8th, the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Yankees hitters, or 7 Yankees hitters, I'm sorry. No, 6. I can't do math. 6 were 2, 4, 7, 11, 13, 17, 21. They were 2 for 21, and the 2 hits were Giancarlo Stanton's hits, 2 singles. So I don't know. And Matt Carpenter struck out 4 times. That's not really an indictment on Carpenter. Carpenter is not ready. He had a broken foot and miraculously came back. But now you backtrack, right? ALCS roster put out today. We wrote about it on yanksgoyard.com. You can go check it out. Look at the analysis. DJ LeMahieu's not on the roster. Matt Carpenter made the ALDS roster and the ALCS roster. Matt Carpenter is not ready. He is 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts in the postseason. What made the Yankees and Aaron Boone put Matt Carpenter on this roster if he's clearly not ready to play and be so steadfast and stubborn in their decision to leave DJ LeMahieu off the roster? I obviously know it's a little bit different because DJ's injury is still a little bit raw, and you're going to need DJ to probably play some defense and, justify his – and he's not a lefty too, so it helps. Carpenter's coming off the bench as a lefty, so it makes more sense. But again, it's the decision-making here. You have a tie game at 1-1 in a game you theoretically have no business being tied 1-1. Astros offense not getting the job done. And you shoot yourself in the foot with a bad bullpen decision that everybody saw coming from a mile away. And that's where people get frustrated. It's when you are looking at the decisions being made and you're like, well, that's the wrong one. Well, why are we doing that again? Why is Clark Schmidt coming in again? He came in game 3 of the ALDS in a high-pressure situation. He didn't get it done. He's come in various high-pressure situations, misused out of the bullpen, didn't get the job done. I don't know why he's still being called upon to do it. I do think he's an asset. He's continually misused, and now it cost the Yankees the first game in the ALCS. And once again, doesn't matter really in the scope of things. The Yankees were never expected to win this game, but you can't go through 2/3 of the game acting as if, this is going to potentially be different. You're going to hold on to what you have here, and you're going to manage the game properly, and then you fumble the bag at the first opportunity you have to do so against the heart of the Astros order. So that's where I throw my hands in the air and I get it. It's fine if you lose this game 6-0. Don't care. But you have this game tied 1-1 in the 5th, and it's clear the Astros are not capitalizing. The top guys in their lineup also not doing much. On the entire night, Jeremy Pena was the only player in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, the top 5 hitters to get a hit. Kyle Tucker went hitless. Alex, why do I keep? I called him Alex this time, actually. Yeah, Alex Bregman, Yordan Alvarez, and Jose Altuve all went hitless. All these guys are hitless. You can't lose this game if that's what you're going. And you're facing Justin Verlander, so you need And once again, Justin Verlander, 75 pitches through 4 innings. He ends up lasting 6, striking out 11. So many things went wrong here that you won't see. You won't see in the box score. You won't realize in the box score. You have to watch the game and see all these things transpire for yourselves. And that's why fans are pissed, and rightfully pissed.
Yeah. The Astros struck out twice.
Twice. Yankees struck out 15 times.
Yeah, twice to 15. That'll do it.
17, I'm sorry.
17. Oh, is that good? I mean, the 0-for-4 with RISP is crazy because I think all of us coming into this game were like, they're going to leave 11 guys in scoring position. Somehow they didn't. They barely ever got there. But the game turned as extremely anticipated as, a blind man encountering his first Yankees-Astros game. If you had read him the stories of the previous Yankees-Astros games, and they had it 1-1 with runners on second and third, 1 out, Verlander laboring, Rizzo and Stanton taking the task, Josh Donaldson at the plate, and then hobbled Matt Carpenter up next, and both those guys strike out rather quickly. I think someone who's never watched baseball before is like, that's probably going to turn the momentum in this game. And they'd be right. That was basically the game. From then on, Verlander was breathing fire. I thought he would come out for the 7th. The Astros were probably like, you want to come out for the 7th to face the bottom of the order? You don't have to. Who cares? Somebody else could do this. You could, but somebody else could too. So why don't you take a rest? And then Hector Neris did it. Then the Yankees had a shot in the 8th. Of course, Rizzo, the 2-out shot. The literal one positive. Because I can't even say getting to Verlander is a positive, because he's going to come out the next time he starts in this series, if he does, if it gets that far, and look great, because that's what happens. Like, you get 1 per series. He's going to dominate next time. You just hope you can win a 1-0 or 2-0 game. It's going to be tough, but he's not going to look this shaky again. He was never going to look as bad as he did in the ALDS today, and you let him off the hook. That's what you did. No, the one encouraging moment in this game was getting to Montero in the 8th. Because the 3-headed Astros bullpen monster, we've hit Ryan Presley before, even though he's a StatCast darling. I don't really think he's that locked down. It might lock us down in this series. Obviously, we haven't gotten a day off in 3.5 weeks. But Ryan Presley, I know what he is. Hector Neris is Hector Neris. But Montero is just, the more of these guys you can crack, the better. And they got to him in a game where he really had no business participating. 4-1 game. Felt like anybody could have sleepwalked the Yankees to the finish line there, and he woke them up a little bit. So that's going to put some doubt in his mind the next time he has to come into a tight game. Hopefully we win a blowout. That'd be great. But I'm well aware we're going to play some more tight games in this series, and Rafael Montero will factor in. The Carpenter thing is tough sailing because it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear to me. I don't know if you feel the same way, but DJ LeMahieu is not on this roster because they keep running him through tests and they keep not being satisfied with what they're seeing. And I don't really blame them because I didn't like what I saw in August and September either. And if they feel he's a little bit slow and still can't put that weight on that back foot, then I have to believe them because I'm not watching batting practice and I'm not judging his sessions. It's clear that they feel worse for Matt Carpenter. Because before Matt Carpenter hurt his foot, he was the narrative of the summer. It was like the popular kids love Aaron Judge. The hipsters love Matt Carpenter. Like everybody was like, yeah, Aaron Judge is on his way to 60 homers. But do you see this guy who's got like a better home run to at-bat ratio than Aaron Judge and only plays like twice a week and hits a homer every time he plays? Like Matt Carpenter's season is actually more impressive. Then he hurts himself and he works his ass off to get back, and they want him to be a folk hero because they think he deserves it. They're managing emotionally here, and I think he deserves it. Matt Carpenter deserves a playoff moment, but guess what? He's not ready. His swing's not ready. He struck out in every at-bat he's received in the postseason so far. 2 pinch hit appearances, and every time he came to the plate today. They finally gave him a start. They finally found a left field. They felt comfortable playing Giancarlo Stanton in. He looked totally fine out there. They could do that again, but if they do that again, they got to start Cabrera or Peraza at short. They got to put Kiner Falefa. You thought I was going to say on the bench? No, at third. Josh Donaldson, you sit down. You're good for absolutely nothing right now.
Cannot watch him anymore.
If you're going to play in this series, you can't bat 5th.
Yeah.
So, you want to talk about the Yankees, throwing this one away with bullpen decisions. I don't know. It's easy for an outsider to say, "Oh, they have an attitude problem." They went into this game thinking they couldn't win, and as soon as it got a little dicey, they started experimenting. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I would love for just 1 week or so to feel like my team is taking every game as intensely as they need to compete at the upper levels. Because once again, this is probably the third or fourth best team in baseball. They're running into the best team in baseball, and they lost game one. That seems to be what happens to this team every year. You got the Philadelphia Phillies and Padres on the other side. Neither of those two teams are the two best teams in the National League, and yet they're both competing for a chance at the World Series. The Yankees are one of the best teams in baseball, but in order to get to the World Series every year, they got to beat the team that's better than them, and they haven't yet. It's a 7-game series. It's not over, but that's a fact. So if they're actually going to do that, if they're going to compete in game two, if they're going to show up ready to show the Astros what they're made of and maybe get a little upset brewing here, Josh Donaldson can't be batting fifth. Josh Donaldson shouldn't be playing at all. Matt Carpenter probably needs another day off, sadly. Giancarlo Stanton back to DH, even though he hit really well playing left field today. Yeah. But if you're going to keep him in left, Oswaldo Cabrera plays short, Kiner Falefa plays third, Donaldson to the bench. Yeah. If you're going to DH him, you can put Cabrera in left. You can put Peraza at short. You can put Kiner Falefa at third. What you're not going to do is start Josh Donaldson tomorrow. Sadly, they will be starting him, and he will be batting fifth. And it's much more likely that Cabrera gets benched again than Donaldson gets pulled.
Yeah, because you have Framber's going tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be lefty. Well, Cabrera's a switch hitter, so who knows?
Yeah, and it's not like Cabrera's been on fire, and it's also not like Cabrera's been slick in the field. He ran into 3 bloops and crashed into human bodies in left field. So it's not even like Cabrera is having a representatively great showing. It's just the potential of Josh Donaldson is steady defense at third and an automatic out at the plate. He took the Todd Frazier swing today on a Verlander curveball. I thought I would never see that again. One of the worst, lowest memories for me from 2017 is when Todd Frazier just flailed at a Verlander curveball like that with like
it was already in the mitt.
Yeah, and it's already in the mitt, and he's swinging and walking back to the dugout. And that was just the moment in 2017 when I was like, this has been cute, but this team is not good enough. And same tonight of like, oh my God, I saw it again. I can't believe we got another guy at the end of this window, 5 years later, a different person who does the same thing. We're still not good enough. They have a whole series to prove me wrong, but it's an unbelievable full circle moment.
Yeah, not only that, you put Donaldson in the 5-hole, and you're fucking giving him opportunities to hit with runners on base. In the first inning, Rizzo got hit by a pitch. Stanton was safe on the throwing error by Altuve. You have 2 guys on. You have 2 outs at that point, so it's tough. Not easy to get a hit with runners in scoring position in 2 outs. Famously a hard thing to do. Okay.
Difficult. Yeah.
Then you go to the top of the third. Rizzo walks. Stanton doubles. I misspoke earlier. I said he singled twice. You had the double, second and third. 1 out, Donaldson strikes out again. And these are non-competitive at-bats. He's not swinging the bat.
That was 3 pitches and a whiff.
Yeah, he struck out twice tonight on 3 pitches, and he was looking at most of them. He is not picking the bat up off his shoulder. I don't know what's going on. At this point, I can't really care what's going on. There's no time to care what's going on. The change needs to be made. We've talked about this earlier in the season where there would be a situation in which the Yankees would have some sort of rover thing where it was Donaldson and IKF shifting between third and Oswaldo Cabrera, and IKF shifting between short, and DJ and Glaber shifting between second, and DHing people and having this nice little fluid system going. But Giancarlo Stanton's injury prevented that from happening for the most part. And for some reason, Aaron Boone is just not going to outright bench Josh Donaldson. And it took him this long to outright bench Isaiah Kiner Falefa when finally his defense cost them a playoff game.
But now he's back because
he's back.
We outright benched him to win a series, and then it's like, oh, now we're in a more important series. All right, get out there, scamp.
Yeah, it's crazy managerial. Like there is no just sticking to one thing outside of continuing to do the wrong thing over and over and over again. Donaldson batting 5th in this lineup is objectively insane, and there's no really argument against it. He had a career. I think it was a career worst year when you look at the numbers in their totality. Hang on, I'm pulling them up right now. Yeah, I mean he batted .222, which is his career low from the shortened 2020 where he only played 28 games. So I don't even think that counts. He had a career low OBP at 308, which is technically, I guess, not a career low. You go back to 2012, his rookie season with the A's. Played 75 games in OBP 289. And then you have an actual career low of 374 slugging percentage. And once again, go back to 2012, he had a 91 OPS plus that year, 94 OPS plus this year. So the dive of Josh Donaldson has been significant this year. And it's been obvious from start to finish. There's been never any point in this year where you're like, hey, keep Donaldson, maybe Donaldson can run into one at some point. Never has felt like that. He had a couple of shining moments this year. Outside of that, there's been zero consistency. He struck out 148 times in 132 games. And he's continuing to do it in the postseason. He went 4 for 20 in the DS, all singles, 1 run scored, struck out 6 times, walked 4 times. I don't even know. I don't even remember him getting on base at a 400 clip. That's actually insane to me. And then he comes up tonight. He has runners in scoring position both times, and both are the most embarrassing strikeouts you've ever seen. So if there's no way to use him as an asset to lengthen the lineup, then there's no way to use him at all, because he should be at the bottom of the lineup or he should be not playing. He should not be batting 5th. He should not be behind Stanton. That doesn't help Giancarlo Stanton. The pitcher knows, oh, great, I have Giancarlo Stanton now, so I got Josh Donaldson next. That's fine. That's kind of easy now that I know that that's what I'm dealing with. And I don't know why. The defense at third base is objectively valuable. He plays a good third base, but is it worth the back-breaking outs that you're getting on offense? I really don't think it is. And not only are they back-breaking outs, they're non-competitive at bats. Even when he works full counts, he's sitting there waiting for the walk, which is exactly what you don't want from a hitter of his caliber, who has the capacity to run into one or put one into the gap. He's opting not to do that. He wants to just take the free pass, and that's the disease with this team at some points too. It's everyone's looking for the walk. Stop looking for the walk. Just swing the bat. The pitches are coming. You're getting them. It's a 3-2 count. Be aggressive. Get ahead of it. And we're not doing that. And that's kind of shown outside of the couple of offensive spurts we had in games 1 and 5 versus the Guardians, where you hit home runs early, you get on the board early, the game's a little bit different. In this instance, one solo home run is not going to make the difference against the Astros. And once again, the clutch hitting did not show up for the Yankees, and it was a backbreaker.
Yeah, there's just sad stuff that I worry we'll never see again. Jose Trevino was an all-star and was the second best offensive catcher in baseball. Now,
really bad for him too.
You'd rather have Martin Maldonado. He hasn't been himself in 2 months since he hurt his foot, and everybody said he was fine, but actually he's not. And like, that's it. That's almost like a guaranteed end of season. Like, hey, he's got a fracture. Yeah. Like Jose Ramirez today, it was like, he had a huge wrist problem. He should have had season-ending surgery. Oh, well, he still hit 500 in the ALDS, but good to know. Like Jose Trevino is a guaranteed end of season. Well, he broke his foot type of thing. Matt Carpenter, the legend of Matt Carpenter, it's like that may never come back. And it's almost hard to believe that was such an important part of this season, because now you see what the offense looks like without a superhuman Matt Carpenter. The amount I want a Matt Carpenter moment and the amount the team wants a Matt Carpenter moment, those things are directly proportional to the amount I care about a Josh Donaldson moment. I couldn't care less. I do not care about a Josh Donaldson redemption streak. If he's the team's best option, then of course play him. He's not. There are multiple people who are tough to squeeze into the lineup, who the story about how you squeeze them in gets a little bit easier to tell if you just take Donaldson out. It's like, how do we get Cabrera, Peraza, and Stanton and all those guys in at the same time, and Connor Falefa? It's like, well, you can just bench Josh Donaldson. That actually helps. That would do it. That would do the trick. And Cabrera is going to play left when they go back to Yankee Stadium anyway. So what is this? This is just we're changing the lineup completely to get Stanton in a left field for one more day, and then when we go back to Yankee Stadium, we're like, and Cabrera's back out there, and you're back at DH, and it's all that stuff from the last series that kind of worked. This Yankees team either wins. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, they either win playoff games 4-1 or they lose playoff games 3-2. That's just what they've done for 5 years now. That's the Aaron Judge era. It's like, oh, 2 guys homered early and we held on to win 5-2. Or, oh, nobody did anything at all and we lost 4-0. Like, those are the 2 games.
Yeah, and it's getting it's getting more and more tough each day to watch Judge. And I understand he had the home run yesterday, and I understand he had the home run in Game 3, but another 0 for 4 night. Aaron Judge is creeping toward, I think he's batting under 220 in the postseason at this point for his career. You can look at the OPS all you want, 831 OPS, that's great, but if you're not getting hits in the postseason, if you're striking out an incredible amount of times. Aaron Judge has 63 strikeouts in 41 career playoff games. It's like, I don't know. I'm not sitting here saying that he's bad, but you can't do that in the postseason. That is an incredible amount of strikeouts. He walks at a significantly lesser clip in the postseason. He's got 24 walks in those 41 games. And it's just, it's killing the Yankees offense if he's not getting on base. We saw what the Yankees offense does when he gets on base. He did it a lot this past season. He did it a lot in 2021. He did it a hell of a lot in 2017. And when he's out of the equation and the Yankees don't have that that magical, set of offensive players in 2018 and 2019 that kind of just operated as is and managed to produce runs automatically. We've seen the difference because the lineup construction is a lot different than it was in those years. And Judge can't keep doing this in the postseason. I don't really know how other way to put it. It's cutting the offense out at the knees, and it's putting pressure on so many other players. And then it's putting pressure on the pitching staff. It's the snowball effect, right? Your best hitter is not hitting. It's putting pressure on the hitters who shouldn't need to have the pressure to hit in the manner, in which somebody else such as Judge's stature should. And then it puts pressure on the pitching to continue to, not give up a single run. And then it's putting pressure on Aaron Boone to make the right decision. And 8 times out of 10, he's probably not going to. So that's the snowball effect here that we have to acknowledge. Once again, series not over. It's 7 games. But this maybe you can get away with this playing a team like the Guardians in a 5-game series. You can't get away with this in a 7-game series against the Astros. It's just
they hit 182 in the Guardian series. It's the lowest average they've ever had in any series they've ever won. So congratulations, we won the series, but my God, you got to walk into the set with better energy. Like the teams that have beaten the Astros in the past, which we act like it's some impossible task, some Herculean task, because we haven't done it. So many other teams have done it. The Braves did it. The Rays did it. Even though they almost blew a 3-0 series lead, but they did it. The Nationals did it. The Red Sox knocked them out super quick and super early in 2018. The Red Sox in 2018 lost the first game of that series at home, won the second game, went to Houston, won 3 straight. Imagine doing that. Imagine having a team with the swagger to believe that's possible. They did it. We've never done that. We've never come close. 2017, we almost had them. Took 3 at home, couldn't sniff a run in Houston. Tonight, could not sniff a run in Houston. 2019, couldn't sniff a run in Houston. We get this DJ miracle, and we lose that game anyway. We win game 1 in 2019, 7-0. We lose that series anyway. What does an Aaron Judge postseason stardom game look like? Looks like game 2. Like the stereotypical Judge postseason go-off game is game 2, 2019, where he hits that 2-run shot. It's 2-1 against Verlander. Looks like they're about to go up 2-0 for 5 seconds. Then Adam Ottavino blows the game on a George Springer home run. They don't put anybody, they put some guys on base. They strike out with runners in scoring position. They don't score any runs. We get to J-Happ and Carlos Correa walks him off. That's a classic Judge postseason game. Early homer, momentum, then the momentum goes away, and then we lose. Same in the Garrett Cole game 5 in the Tampa series, right? Judge homered early, 1-0. Oh, this might actually go well. Never mind, it's tied now. We haven't done anything in an hour and a half, and we just lost. So when Judge steps up, that's what the Yankee playoff games end up looking like. For some reason, time and again, it always feels like it has to be Judge and Stanton concurrently. If they're both hot, the team is a shot. If they're not in sync with each other, it just doesn't work. And like you said, Jose Altuve, goes 0 for today. He's 0 for the playoffs. The Astros' bottom of the lineup does not look any more impressive than ours on paper. Justin Verlander struggled early, was on the ropes early. The Astros are undefeated this postseason, and we lost. Judge struggles, we lose. Altuve doesn't do anything. The Astros win. They win games. They dominate. They win coin flips. They're a great team. They rarely lose to us. They do lose to other people, and that's what's most frustrating.
Yeah. And not that I wanted, maybe Domingo Germán to come in tonight, but Aaron Boone saying in the postgame right now that Germán has not been utilized yet this entire postseason because there hasn't been an opportunity to use him.
Today was honestly one of the first ones.
I mean, you could, yeah, you could have used him once in the DS. I don't know exactly when, but there was a time where you needed a couple innings, and that was a guy who you could have went to
instead of Tyone in the 10th. Maybe that guy.
Maybe, or instead of who came in Game 3 after Sevy was pitching that. We went straight to
it was Trevino. Yeah.
It was Trevino,
and then we yanked him quick, and then Loaziga, we yanked him quick, and then we ended up with Clark Schmidt on the mound.
Again, if you're going to yank guys quick, then just use the guy who you don't need to yank quick because he can throw more innings. Just puzzling. Again, why are you carrying him if you're not using him? Miguel Castro used for the first time tonight in a game that theoretically didn't matter. Why are we carrying him? If you don't need them, we could. I don't know what the other options are, but you have these players at your disposal to use, especially in a game one where you probably weren't going to win anyway. So maybe don't use some of the guys that you used tonight and try to get length out of some other players. I don't know. Just everything was the wrong decision tonight. And I have no solutions for it. I could just tell you that what was done was wrong, and it was wrong as it was happening. It was wrong. It was wrong before it was happening. It was wrong as it was happening, and it was wrong after everything had happened. So that's where the frustration lies. Weren't supposed to win this game. Didn't expect to win this game. Tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow is game 2. Tomorrow is where we can capitalize. Luis Severino versus Framber Valdez. Yep. Offense has to show up. Aaron
can't be 1-1. It just cannot be 1-1 in the 6th or 7th tomorrow.
No, there needs to be some sort of pressure on the Astros offense. Again, the Yankees just gift these games to the Astros, right? There's not enough pressure on them. Aaron Boone presses the wrong bullpen buttons. Somebody chokes on the Yankees side, whether it's a defensive gaffe, whether it's someone throwing the wrong pitch, whether it's not hitting with runners in scoring position, whatever it is, and then you leave the window open and open and open and open for the other team to do it. And of course, they're going to do it at some point. Like, somebody's going to do it if you keep giving them the opportunity to cash in on a certain scenario. And that's what the Yankees do. And they make it easier for the Astros, who already have our number, and you can't afford to continue to make it easier for them. You have to make it more difficult. So I hope today was maybe a learning lesson for somebody anywhere. But yeah, once again, not panic mode. It's just, we're allowed to be mad about losing a game that we could have stolen. It was right there. It wasn't like we were down 4-0 after the second, which is kind of what we expected heading into this one. You're like, hey, you know what? Probably get our ass kicked early on and then digging out of a hole, and you go to the bullpen early, then you probably got to use Schmidt and Germán and Frankie Montas to eat up these innings and just get to game 2 and make sure you're prepared. But no, you end up using Lou Trevino, who's a valuable bullpen arm, and you get 4 1/3 good innings out of Tyone, and he probably could have went at least another inning. So it's just confusing stuff, and it's frustrating, but we'll do our Men in Black impression. We'll erase this from our brains after we go to bed tonight, and then we'll be back tomorrow.
This was definitely an eraser. Like, nothing happened in this game where I'm like, well, that's going to kill me forever. It was just like, well, we lost again. It feels like the Yankees unofficially lead the league in games exactly like this, where it's like, well, we have little to no chance to win this game. Pitching matchup makes no sense. We're tired. Bullpen's worn out. This is a loss. There's no way they can hurt me tonight. Smash cut to like an hour and a half later. We're like, why is this a tight game? Smash cut to another 20 minutes later. Like, we blew it. Okay, you hurt me. I did not think it was possible, but it happened yet again. And this falls right into that category. It's like we had no business being in this. We had no business winning, had a chance to steal, maintained that chance to steal for way longer than we should have, got it stolen right back from us. And it's always the Astros. And it'll be the Astros tomorrow for game 2. Same time, same channel, 7:37. No days off. Friday, finally, a day off. That'll be cool. Hopefully, we're in that Friday day off, tied 1-1 in the series. We could actually talk about momentum, swinging back to the Bronx instead of just sleeping in Houston. You can find us live on YouTube, 2 o'clock Eastern time, Mondays and Thursdays. We're going to be there next week. We're going to be talking about this series, which is going to move faster than you want it to, because, again, no days off. Saturday and Sunday, there's an off chance that the series is over the next time you hear from us. Hopefully that's not true. We really could use a little spark here and a lineup change for game 2 and just a little bit of goddamn hope. Until then, you can find us on all podcast platforms, though, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. And shout out to our listeners in the UK, by the way.
Hey, guys.
Looked at the charts this week. We are rocketing up the UK charts. You people are fantastic. Save me a proper fish and chips with mushy peas. We'll see you over there. Maybe we'll come back for the London series next year. Yanks are not playing.
Oy.
Finally getting rescheduled. Cardinals, Cubs. Would love to be there. But shout out to our listeners over there in England. Wow. Hopefully you didn't stay up to watch this one. Hopefully you're Yankee fans, and hopefully you slept through this very dull game and are relying on us for a recap, because I'd feel bad if you change your sleep schedule around to watch this whatsoever. Until next time, I'm Adam Weinrib. You can find me on Twitter at Adam Weinrib. Thomas Carannante, where can the people find you?
You got it right here, folks, at Tommy's_takes. You can also talk to us on the official Yanks Go Yard Twitter account at Yanks Go Yard FS. We were particularly incensed tonight. A lot of you guys responded and popped into the mentions, and we were responding back. We love that. We love the back and forth, so keep it coming. Head on over to yanksgoyard.com. A lot of content there for you. Reaction from tonight's game. We'll have some post-game stuff in the morning as well for you. And until then, let's go Yankees. We got game 2, then a day off. We got a breather. Big weekend. It's gonna be a big. I guess 4 games in a row. If that's what or 5 games in a row. Sorry, if that's what it comes down to. Yep. So when we see you next, we don't know when that'll be, but cheers. Let's go Yanks.
I also think it's important to note the Astros have this bizarre motif going on Twitter where it seems like they want to kill us, whoever's running social media for the Astros. Their video earlier today was captioned, "The train is headed full steam and New York is sitting on the tracks. You want to run us over with a train?" And then the post-win little clip just says, "Choo choo." Like they really, truly want to kill us with a train. Like the first video is like, wait, did they just say that I'm just a humble fan? I'm sitting on the train tracks and you're going to run me over? And then the end of game clip, it's like, oh, that wasn't a mistake. That's what you meant to say, that you want to kill me with a train until I die. So let's beat the Houston Astros. I'm so sick of these people. I'm sick of Justin Verlander. I'm sick of Alex Bregman. I'm sick of Yuli Gurriel, who was racist to you, Darvish, in the World Series and is somehow still on this team. I'm sick of Brandon Taubman. I'm sick of Jeff Luhnow. I'm sick of Alex Cora. I'm sick of AJ Hinch.
Sick of Ted Cruz.
I'm sick of Senator Ted Cruz, who was at that game. Sick of when James Harden used to go to these games. That's how long it's been. The Yankees were losing the Astros in the ALCS so long ago that James Harden was skinny and on the Rockets and wanted to be on the Rockets. That's how long ago this was. I'm sick of everything that has to do with this ballpark. It's Fenway too. We only go there a couple times a year. They happen to be playoff games, and we lose them. So you know what? Win game 2. We'll see you next week.